Primetime News tonight. I'm still here with the Director of Communications, the National Police Service, Mr. Charles. So, we're still trying to understand the new police reforms that will be effected in the next 90 days from what the President said today while they were unveiling. Some other issues crop up in these changes. The housing program for junior officers, then they will now be getting house allowances. Some of the most frequent questions that have been asked today is, what was the rationale? How did you decide how much money will be given to which officer who lives where?
First of all, before we go to that, there are two major purposes of having to pay police officers house allowance. One, we want the integration between police officers and members of the public. We would like police officers to live within members of the public, so that we move from police officers who are feared to police officers who are embraced and whom people think live with them normally. We also have a few cheeky police officers who would offend you and then they run back to police lines. Now they have to run back to you. They have to be very considerate. But the issue of the house allowance, what is happening is that if we were to construct, you see, police have continued to live in very deplorable housing conditions, many of them sharing houses and so on and so forth. And if we were to continue, if we were to construct houses for them, it would take us very many years to manage to construct houses for over 115,000 police officers in the whole country. And therefore, it was more reasonable for the police officers to be paid house allowance. On the amount of money to be paid, I can assure you it would be reasonable, they will be comfortable, and they'll be able to get houses in areas that would be fairly reasonable for them to live. I know the concerns would be maybe places like Nairobi, but I'm sure the rural areas will be perfect. Majority of officers are in the rural areas. Nairobi has not very many police officers. But I believe that I've not seen the actual figures given, but I believe that it will be reasonable. I earn reasonable house allowance. I believe they'll earn reasonable house allowance.
In the past, the housing program for junior officers has been viewed as a cash cow. Do you think this will be the will curb the
a cash cow to who? Especially
the seniors in the service?
How? Because we don't provide them with houses.
It has been a problem that has been there for a while. But do you think this will be viable?
Yes, it will be viable for officers to get house allowance so that each and every officer lives in a fairly very good condition. And we stop the issues of sharing of the houses, because it would have taken us very many years to construct houses for 115,000 police officers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did we reach out the police uniforms for the general duty officers?
One, traditionally, blue is the color of uniform for police officers internationally. It depends on which blue. Some use blue, some use black. But equally, if you look at the current situation in Kenya, the officers from the rank of inspector and above, we put on brown. Officers from the rank of below the rank of inspector put on blue uniform, and we have agreed that all of us should have similar uniform color, with only a difference on the badges of rank. Otherwise, the uniform would be similar.
So we're doing away with the blue uniform, AP uniform. What will we be seeing?
We will see the blue uniform, especially for the general duty police officers.
This uniform, the
yes, but for officers undertaking operational duties, we will see the jungle uniform. Yes.
All right. So just as we take a short break, breaking story currently coming in. President Uhuru Kenyatta has rejected the Finance Bill 2018 that Kenyans have been waiting with bated breath to see what action he will take. Will he send it back to the House? Will he assent to it? News just reaching us here in the KTN newsroom is that he has rejected this particular bill. This then means that this VAT tax on petroleum products will not be suspended for another 2 years to about 2020, as a bill that, of course, was brought to Parliament by Junet Mohammed, the Member of Parliament for Suna East. And, of course, Parliament is expected to sit again next Thursday at 2:30 to deliberate on this after President Uhuru Kenyatta has rejected it. This is news just reaching us that President Uhuru Kenyatta has rejected the Finance Bill 2018. We've all been waiting to see what his reaction will be. Kenyans have cried, have lamented over the 16% VAT tax on petroleum products. Parliament had asked for this particular bill to be suspended for another 2 years as they try to figure this out, but the president has refused to assent to it. Parliament will be sitting on Thursday at about 2:30 p.m. to deliberate on this. Coming back with more on this and the conversation here with Charles Owino, Director of Communications of the National Police Service. Let's take a break. Moses Wahisi will be coming up next with Sports News.
This is KTN News.